I heard a story, and it was a simple man was sitting on his simple terrace in his simple and modest house with a nice simple cup of tea in his hand, when suddenly a very big, expensive car pulled up outside his simple little house, looking for directions. I hastily add, it was a long time ago, so he didn't have the Google map that we all have now. I didn't want anyone saying, why didn't you use Google? The simple man walked to the gate of his simple garden, of his simple house, put down his simple cup of tea, and he admired the amazing looking car, beautiful looking car. Could have been anything, I wouldn't know. Could have been a Bentley, Jag, Rolls Royce, Maserati, something like that. No, not Maserati, doesn't look like a Rolls Royce, but you get the idea. It was a very expensive car. He said to the man in the car, who wasn't as simple as him, "That's an incredibly expensive looking car." And the car owner in the magnificent car said, "If you really worked hard, you could build up a big business, earn lots of money, and buy a car like this, and have a big house with 5 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms, so each bedroom would have 2 bathrooms in case there were 2 people sleeping in the 1 bedroom. And then you'd have all this wonderful wealth, this big house, big car, big garden, swimming pool, everything. And you'd have worked really hard. You'd be fairly worn out after all the work to do all this. You could sit under your magnificent porch with a nice cup of tea in your hand." And the simple man said, "I'm doing that right now." Now, you've all heard that story, and yet we struggle to be that simple person, and it's not easy. The simple man knew that happiness and fulfillment can come from ordinary moments, very simple little moments in your life. And they're not always dependent on material possessions. He knows in all his simplicity how to have the joy of a grateful heart. He believed life is really simple. But however, we insist on making it complicated. Now, I know that sounds a bit smug, and also I'm one of the people who makes it complicated. I don't live a simple life. So the simple man is not me, just in case you thought it was. Definitely not me, but I admire him. Paulo Coelho, the Brazilian novelist and lyricist, said, "It's the simple things in life that are the most extraordinary." What a profound, but yet obvious thing to say. And yet, at times, we can never quite reach that essence of simplicity in our life. It is said that Vincent van Gogh, the Americans say Van Gogh, I don't know why I'm saying it, Vincent van Gogh, talking to too many Americans, Vincent van Gogh said, "Great things are done by a series of small things brought together." Great things are done by a series of small things brought together. Isn't that beautiful? And yet, he, in many ways, couldn't achieve that himself. He found the world too painful to stay in it. Brian sings that beautiful song about Vincent regularly here in the church, and we all love it, with the most heartbreaking line, "This world was never meant for one as beautiful as you." The tragedy for many of us, I think, it takes years to discover the sweet, simple things of life, which are the real things. Like, you don't need too many things. I've too many things. I don't know where most of them are. And as I grow older, I pay less attention to the promises of politicians. Years ago, I used to watch elections. I'd stay up all night watching who won Brighton East. And then when that was over, watch the Irish elections, who won North Tipperary. And it really concerned me, because I was obsessed with they were going to change the world. And it took me a long time to realize it never really happens. Sadly, their jobs seem to prove that their opponent is devious and can't deliver. I often feel that that tension at that level permeates down and really doesn't reflect the desires of ordinary folk, who don't really think in terms like that. They prefer to go to a football match, or watch Strictly, or go out for a meal, or just do simple things. What do we really want out of life is a huge question to ask ourselves. And as Christians gathered in a Christian church, well, I'll rephrase, as people gathered in a Christian church, I can't assume that everybody would describe themselves as specifically Christian. But as people gathered in an inclusive church, at the heart of our faith is the belief that contentment over material wealth, focusing on relationships, and being of good character, and living with good intentions are at the heart of our possible happiness. Jesus preached that life does not consist in an abundance of possessions, and he had very little. Do we seek wealth? Do we want to see it everywhere in the world? I do. I'm not going to now. I've passed that idea. Do we want fame? Do we want possessions? I've already said I've too many. They're not very valuable, so that's why I don't know where they are. And if so, why? Why? Is it psychological? Is it a psychological need? And pressure from our contemporaries. I have a collection of lead soldiers. Most of you won't remember lead soldiers. Lead soldiers, I started collecting them when I was 12, and I haven't been able to stop. I'm a lead soldier addict. I've outed myself now. And I've easily, I'd say, close to probably 1,000 little lead soldiers. And myself and Isabella were having a meal and drinks with people during the week, and we were talking about where things might go when we pass on. Die is another word for pass on. And I said, I was really worried about my lead soldier collection. And Isabella said, it'll go in the skip with everything else. I said, it'll what? Well, I'm going in the skip with them then. So I really lay in bed all night thinking, who can I leave them to that won't break them up? My nephew Carl in New York, he did, because he's got 3 apartments. He'll definitely put them in one apartment. And so, as you can see, I'm not that simple man sitting on the simple whatever. However, I'm not saying we shouldn't be ambitious and seek what's best for us and what's best for our families. And yet, sometimes we miss the concept of the simple pleasure of a walk in the country or along the Lagan towpath. I love walking on the Lagan towpath, and yet I know I don't do it enough. I don't make time to do it. And yet I miss it, and I'm sad that I don't do it. The pleasure of a good book, and only you, as we learned from our book club, individually can be the arbitrator of what a good book is. Brendan Behan used to say, give me a good book, a bottle of whiskey, and a comfortable chair, and you can keep the book. But it is the joy of reading. In our book club, you see that people actually get incredible joy from reading. And maybe, by the way, we shouldn't be overcritical when we see people on their phone all the time. They may be reading, I don't know, Shakespeare, whatever. Maybe they're reading the newspapers. But it might be now the contemporary simple joy of reading, put on your phone or whatever. And even looking forward to your favorite TV show or drama. And thank God we've got the BBC drama department that still turns out wonderful drama. The only difference is now I have to put the subs on. And I blame the actors. They're not properly trained. For me, one of the most simple things that I love is a visit to the QFT. Do we all know the QFT? Up hands those who know the QFT. Up hands those who love the QFT. Isn't it wonderful? Aren't we blessed in Belfast to have that great little cinema where you can go in, you can even have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee, or a cup of coffee and a glass of wine. And then it's so atmospheric. And yet it's one of the most simple things you can do. And it's very reasonably priced. That wonderful little cinema, the QFT, full of ambience. And then from our own church here, our wonderful bus trips. Please take note, Carol. It has given an opportunity to share time together, to share stories together, and, of course, a gin and tonic. To visit historic sites and have their history brought back to us by a good historian or a convincing storyteller. They've been wonderful, and yet a very simple thing to do. Not for the organizer, of course, but for the rest of us. I think the profoundness of a simple life is making time for it. To manage to create space by eliminating excess and distraction. Oh, I have a very important meeting at 4 o'clock, and then I have another important meeting at 5 o'clock, and then I have a very important meeting this evening at 10 o'clock. No, 10 o'clock's too late, say 9 o'clock. And we think they all matter, and they really sometimes don't add up to anything. Maybe I realize that there are things I can't fix in the world anymore that are a lot bigger than me, and there's really, you can be concerned about them, but we're not in a position to fix them. So fix the things you can fix. Maybe, another thing, maybe the status quo is not the worst thing. Maybe these are the best times in our life. It doesn't get any better. But sometimes we never give that credit. Don't be in such a hurry to change too many things. You might be disappointed. The enchanting words of that Lennon and McCartney song, "Let it be." And when the night is cloudy and there's still a light that shines on me, shining until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Such profound words from two wonderful Liverpool lads that informed us, not only in music, as Norman spoke about earlier on, and that was wonderful, Norman. We see ourselves, many of us, as grown up with the Beatles sound and learning all their songs, and particularly that one, making an impact on us. Let it be. And yet we didn't let it be. And we didn't listen to Mother Mary, never mind our own mothers. Akin to the Buddhist teaching that if you desire something intensely, you should let it go. Let go of the obsessive feeling, and it will more likely happen. But if it doesn't happen, that's not the end of the world. Is that true? I think there's a strong element of truth in that Buddhist expression, or that Buddhist teaching. Sometimes when we see a new gadget advertised on television, we go insane until we get it. And then we use it once or twice. And that's it. We don't even remember where we put it. I know I put them all away with everything else that I haven't put away somewhere. And today, like every other Sunday, when our service is over and the minister is shut up, we will gather over at the counter, and there's some great looking stuff up there today. I think loads of meringues. Am I right? Actually looks wonderful. We'll gather at the counter and we'll enjoy our coffee and our home bakes. And even more than that, we will enjoy each other's company. We will chat. We'll make plans. We might carry them out, we might not. But we'll chat to each other. We'll make friends. The simple things in life. Sharing a tea, a coffee, a bun, and company. The simplest things that money cannot buy. Although I would ask you to make a contribution if you can. Sometimes we have to be serious, but don't be too serious. Don't be too serious. Remember, the simple pleasures of life is ultimately what we're all in search of at the end of the day. And in those immortal words of Lennon and McCartney, let it be. Amen.
Hi everyone. Today I'll be singing a Schubert piece called Seligkeit, which means bliss. It was written in 1816, or that might be an 8. The copy's not very clear. But yes, and thank you to Trevor for accompanying me.
Freuden
Thank you, Eve. That was absolutely beautiful, wonderful. Thank you. And thank you, Trevor. And thank you, the choir this morning. The choir were superb this morning. And also great to see Mo and Holly back with the choir. Lovely to see you back. And thank you, Norman, for your inspiring reading about music. And Alan, we're having a session meeting. Has the date changed? Do you want to come up and tell us the date? Because I'm not sure I know.
I have two announcements. I was going to be getting up to do this one anyway. The Sunday the 19th of October at 3:30, there will be a harvest service in our church in Moira. We always have had a real good connection with the church in Moira, thanks to the late Reverend Agnew. So we have received an invitation to go along to that service at 3:30 on Sunday the 19th. And I hear that their tea and coffee and refreshments rival our own, so you will be well fed. There will be a short meeting today after the service of literally 5 minutes for elders. If you could wait behind at the end of the service, and we will have a chat in the steward room. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. And just a little bit of bad news about that Moira harvest service. I'm actually taking it. I'll disguise myself. But it's lovely because Moira is a real sister church here of All Souls because of the Dr. Agnew connection, and also because our wonderful colleague Alistair Bell is the minister in charge of Moira. And have we any other? No other news. Well, next Sunday, we're having a special service at our normal time, 11:30, and it's dedicated to the Indian festival of Diwali, the Hindu festival of Diwali, because we're now entering into the season where we celebrate light, Diwali, Hanukkah, and then Christmas. And so it'll be a very nice and interesting service as we explain and celebrate and light lots of candles, which is the thing that people do during Diwali, and say a little bit about Diwali. And then our own harvest service is at normal time, 26th, and or 11:30 on the 26th of October. Now, I don't have the date or the name of the book club. Has anybody got it? No? Okay. Well, it'll be sent out. I'll get it, and we'll send it out to those in the book club, because I wasn't at the last book club. On the 5th of November, I'll put this up as well on our email page. On the 5th of November, I've been asked to speak at a Quaker meeting. I thought Quakers didn't speak. Maybe that's why they've asked me to come along, because they know I'll speak endlessly. Anyway, I'm really thrilled that the Quakers have invited me to come and speak at one of their meetings, Quaker meetings. So other than that, nobody anything else to say? No? Okay. Please stay for tea and coffee and buns afterwards and enjoy the simple things of life and get to know each other better. And now we'll have our collection. Thank you, Trevor. That was wonderful. And now may we sing together our final hymn, number 233 in the Red Book. Glorious things of thee are spoken. If here you have found freedom, take it with you into the world. If you have found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have dreamed dreams, help one another that they may come true. If you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. Amen. God bless you all. Go in peace.